This is Mac OS Ken.
A couple of notes on iPhone, following that Apple Car story, and contemplating an Apple acquisition. It is Wednesday, the 23rd of December, 2020. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by NordVPN. Get 68% off NordVPN, only $3.71 a month, plus an additional month free at nordvpn.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Headspace, meditation made simple. When I've tried meditation in the past, it was just 5 minutes of me breathing and feeling dumb. Nothing told me why I was doing it. Headspace is different, using clinically validated research to ask what you're trying to achieve and help you do it. I mean, it's great for quick hits. There are guided meditations as short as 3 minutes to help you focus, relax, stave off panic. But there's more. The Headspace approach to mindfulness can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost focus, and increase your overall sense of well-being. You might feel self-conscious at first. I know I did. But I also know I feel better with Headspace. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/macOSKen. That's headspace.com/macOSKen for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/macOSKen today. And a big thanks to Headspace for sponsoring today's show. Cowen and Company is seeing a big start to 2021 for iPhone. Apple Insider has had a peek at a note from the firm. The way Cowen sees it, shipments of the iPhone 12 line will grow 38% for the March quarter versus shipments of the iPhone 11 line for the same quarter a year earlier. The firm thinks a lot of that growth is coming from China. According to the report, Cowen's data proposes there have been sales of over 6 million units in China in November alone. This translates into a market share of around 20% and a multi-year high. Cowen's got an outperform rating on Apple shares. The last Apple price target I could find for the firm was set at $133. Apple is sending a bunch of jailbroken iPhones to select security folks. Mac Rumors says the first participants in the company's Security Research Device Program have received notice that their imperfect by design devices are on the way. According to the report, Apple in July announced the launch of a new Apple Security Research Device Program, which is designed to provide researchers with specially configured iPhones that are equipped with unique code execution and containment policies to support security research. The piece goes on to say the iPhones Apple will provide are less locked down than consumer devices, which will make it easier for researchers to locate serious security vulnerabilities. These devices are as close as possible to production phones with the latest version of iOS and modern hardware. Researchers will not need to jailbreak the iPhones to do research, which will enable them to investigate platform security features, and they can run whatever tools they want to test the OS. Sounds confusing. And again, I'm not getting one of these and wouldn't know what to do with it if I did. Recipients, one assumes, will know what to do with them. Mac Rumors says Apple believes that the contributions of security researchers will assist the company in achieving its goal of increasing safety for consumers. Apple says that it values collaborating with independent researchers. Why would they want to, and what might have been? 2 stories today on the recent rumors around Apple Car. No doubt you remember the bad poetry-inspiring story from Reuters on Tuesday. Secret people said to know something about something say Apple is looking to start rolling a passenger car off the line by sometime in 2024. Also, it's going to have an awesome battery. Also, Apple might change its mind and license its car tech to other car makers instead. All of that has Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani wondering why Apple would do it. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note from Ad Rock to investors on Tuesday, quoting that, "Barring some breakthrough in battery or autonomous driving tech, we see little reason for Apple to enter the low-margin, capital-intensive business of building automobiles. That said, vehicles are rapidly becoming computers on wheels, so Apple's background in software, silicon, electronics could be useful if it partners with a company like contract automaker Magna." Note, it has been previously reported that Apple was working with Magna before the relationship dissolved. Daryanani doesn't see this happening. To his way of thinking, it's more likely that Apple will keep working on an autonomous driving system that it would sell to traditional automakers. Don't let that bring you down, though. Quoting the note again, "With or without an Apple car, we think the company remains well positioned to sustain beats and raises driven by trifecta of 1. iPhone 12 demand tailwinds, 2. monetization of the install base, wearables and services, and 3. margin expansion driven by bill of materials tailwinds and mix benefits." Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $135. If you thought Tesla CEO Elon Musk would let the Apple car talk pass without notice, you must not be terribly familiar with Mr. Musk. Apple Insider had Iron Man, minus the suit, tossing, well, barbs might be too strong a word. Let's say tossing comments at the story. First, he commented on some of the tech discussed in the Reuters report, saying one of Apple's alleged breakthroughs is impossible, while another is something Tesla is already doing. Then he talked about the time he tried to sell the company to Apple. When I say talked, by the way, I mean tweeted. Quoting the sale tweet, "During the darkest days of the Model 3 program, I reached out to Tim Cook to discuss the possibility of Apple acquiring Tesla for 1/10 of our current value. He refused to take the meeting." That's got a lot of people saying Tim Cook was dumb or Tim Cook missed a bet. I'd like to hear Tim Cook say that Musk actually approached Apple about the sale. I'm not saying Elon Musk is lying. I am saying I would like to hear this story corroborated. Anyway, what might have been? More news in a moment, but first a word from NordVPN. Online security starts with a click. Actually, NordVPN started 8 years ago with 4 childhood friends who saw a problem. Spending time in different parts of the world, they saw internet censorship, content control, and intrusive government surveillance growing faster than ever before. NordVPN is their solution. It lets them, you, and 14 million other people around the world surf without fear of folks seeing what they're doing online. It also lets them access accounts around the world without being held back by such antiquated notions as being in a different part of the world. Trying servers both here and abroad, my access has been speedy and easy. But try it for yourself at an incredibly low price. Right now, you can get 68% off NordVPN, only $3.71 a month. Plus, you get an additional month free at nordvpn.com/macOSKen or use a coupon macOSKen. NordVPN comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so take advantage of this deal. Get 68% off NordVPN, only $3.71 a month, plus an additional month free at nordvpn.com/macOSKen or use coupon macOSKen. And a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring today's show. If we ever get to go back to Apple stores again, we may see a push for Fitness Plus. 9to5Mac says, open stores apparently are promoting Apple's workout service and select gear with dynamic new displays. The piece says the displays went up in select Apple stores on Tuesday, highlighting the seamless integration between Apple hardware and the subscription service. Apple Pay support has come online for Line Pay. Line is a calling and messaging app in Japan. Line Pay is a mobile money transfer and payment service developed on that app. And Apple Pay either now supports it or is now supported by it. Can never figure out how to say that. Whichever way you say it, a piece from iMore says the two are now playing nice. According to a release from Line Pay, users can quickly and easily set up Apple Pay from the Line app. An iPhone and Apple Watch can be used on ID terminals installed in more than 1.21 million stores in Japan as of September 2020. Not a bad day's work. Spending Apple's money, the Tinseltown edition. Cult of Mac highlights a report from the Wall Street Journal that says the movie studio MGM has put itself up for sale. Nothing official, of course, just a rumor. Assuming it's true, the Journal figures some big technology companies are likely buyers. With its Apple focus, Cult of Mac wonders whether Cupertino might be interested. It has been interested a few times before. Well, interested in one MGM property at least. Bond. James Bond. According to the cult, in 2017, it was reported that Apple TV Plus execs Zach Van Amberg and Jamie Ehrlich were leading Apple's attempts to buy the James Bond franchise. Then earlier this year, Apple supposedly made an offer to buy upcoming movie No Time to Die after COVID-19 scuppered its theatrical release. Apple was apparently willing to pay up to $400 million for the movie. However, MGM wanted more. Then there was a time a couple of years ago when somebody was trying to sell MGM to Apple. Quoting the Wall Street Journal, in 2018, MGM fired its then chief executive, Hollywood veteran Gary Barber, for having early, unsanctioned conversations with Apple to sell the studio for more than $6 billion. The preliminary talks fell apart when he was ousted. MGM board chairman Kevin Ulrich told studio investors at the time that he could sell MGM for more than $8 billion in 2 to 3 years. The Journal puts the studio's current value at $5.5 billion. So, way to go, that guy. The piece points out what a steep price $5.5 billion would be. The most Apple has paid for anything to this point is the roughly $3 billion it spent on Beats. And finally today, news that makes me both happy and sad. The best TV show of 2020, Ted Lasso, may only get 2 more seasons. Apple Insider had one of the show's creators, Bill Lawrence, guesting on the podcast Fake Doctors, Real Friends. At one point, they were apparently talking about The Mandalorian, particularly how difficult making a second season of a show can be when the first season knocks it out of the park. What does that mean for Ted Lasso? Quoting Lawrence, I think that ours is a little different because Jason Sudeikis, as he's kind of mapping it out, it's a 3-season show. So superfans know that The Mandalorian is connecting tissue in the Star Wars universe, and for us, everybody knows that they get an end to this story in the 3rd season. MASH ran long. Cheers ran kinda long. I don't want Ted Lasso to end. At the same time, I don't want it to get old. If it's any consolation, Lawrence doesn't seem to want the show to stop at 3 seasons either. There is the show's star to think about, though, saying he would beg Jason Sudeikis for a season 4. Lawrence added, the only way I think a 4th season of Ted Lasso exists would be if Ted Lasso went and coached a soccer team that played about a block from Jason's house in real life. You know what I mean? He's got young kids. Man, that is such a Ted Lasso reason to stop Ted Lasso. Coming up in a few minutes, Shelley Brisbane gives the turntable a spin, dropping the needle on 5 tracks for the holiday album side. Plus, a holiday movie. It's Parallel host Shelley Brisbane in a few minutes. Look for that show and subscribe wherever you get podcasts, and search Apple Music for Ken Ray. Scroll until you find my profile and listen to the holiday album side, why don't ya? Yesterday on macOS Ken Live, we talked about the MGM idea and followed that car story. The last live show for this week happens today at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. Catch it then at youtube.com/KenRay. You can also catch replays there or subscribe to the audio podcast, macOS Ken Live, wherever you subscribe to podcasts. One more show to tell you about. We have started a sort of tradition over at the Checklist. It is the Hacky Holidays episode. Favorite hacker films, what they got right, what they got wrong, and what we can actually learn from them. It is a seriously fun episode. It drops tomorrow. Look for the Checklist by Secure Mac, and have a hacky holiday. And with that, macOS Ken is done for the week. I got presents to wrap and eggs to nog, or I don't know how eggnog works. Anyway, macOS Ken goes again next Tuesday. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Get a free 1-month trial at headspace.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by NordVPN. Get 68% off NordVPN, only $3.71 a month, plus an additional month free at nordvpn.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Have a holly jolly next few days. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.